Do any of you wonder what I get up to when I've actually got a day spare, the right materials, the right tools, and my brain is working? Well, it's a bit messy, but my table saw is now sitting on this, with the storage underneath. And there's just some stuff dumped on top for now, but it also has wheels. So if you'd like to see me work where I have 10% more capacity in my brain and a little bit of mathematic here in Wales, check the video out. I will show you how I actually did that with mistakes. It is me. Okay, so this is my shed, and I've emptied this space here where I've been storing a table saw, so I can actually build like a stand unit type thing for the table saw, so I can put it out on wheels and all that kind of stuff. Now, so far, I do have a little mistake in my measurements. However, so 750 is the widest I can go with the platform to fit it in, and 700, it's literally like 20 millimeters extra around the table saw, so it's got a nice bit of surface area to bolt it down. It's going to be 840 high in total. The height of the saw from the ground is 340 centimeters. Everything's in centimeters, and then the height of the actual unit total can be 500 centimeters. However, I do want to add casters, and they're going to be 4-inch casters, so I need to find out what 4 inches is in millimeters or centimeters, take that off my total height, and then amend this number here, the height of the actual unit, and then hopefully everything will still add up to 840 high. The space, I know it's a bit of a crap drawing, but this here, oops, so this is the space I'm working with, and the crazy thing is that where that stops, and I didn't pre-plan this, happy accident, the space there is 750. It's maybe a mil either way, but it's going to fit in that space, and then the cupboards will come up there. So we're kind of looking good so far. So I already have the space, I don't need to move anything really. I'm going to be using USB to make platforms. I think ply is too expensive for me to use as sort of the tables, I guess, or the worktops for the saw to sit on. But inside here will be boxed in. It'll be like a little cubby unit type thing with a shelf. Just a quick one. I realised I've done everything in centimetres. I thought, well, if it's 840 centimetres high, that's 8.5 metres high. Stupid. So yeah, everything's been changed to millimetres. So my total height is 840 millimetres, so under a metre. My casters, so I've got these quite heavy duty-ish, I think they're 2-inch wheels, but in total height 70 millimeters. But my total height here needs to be 840, so I need to deduct 70 millimeters from 500 millimeters, which is my total table height. So I need to remember that, because if I cut everything and assemble it at this height, then the whole thing is going to be more like 910 millimeters high. I don't want that. It can't exceed 840 millimeters, so I thought I'd chuck that in there. Today, there you are, I can maths. I'm Welsh, so we say maths. I can do mathematic. Woke up really early this morning. I think I slept enough. So yeah, there's my measurements. Actually correct. Millimeters. Everything's in millimeters, because my tape measures in millimeters and I thought it said centimeters. Luckily I've got the right numbers. So 840, no, 500 max height before putting the table saw on. So the actual unit itself, 500 millimeters, take away 70 millimeters, which is 430 millimeters. My God, I got that right. So I'm gonna write that. So total height with wheels, I'll just draw a little thing here with a base plate and a little arm and a wheel. Total height needs to be 430 millimeters. 430 millimeters. Wait. Oh, that's to there. And from here to here is 500. I know what I'm doing. So I've got to cut these at 430. So one thing I've really got to try and get used to doing is this. I've got no excuses now. I got one of these Velcro strap-on mask things. I'm going to be cutting outside, so I'm not too worried about filtering the finer particles in the workshop, though when it's done, when I start actually cutting in here, even with dust collection, I will be using a proper respirator. And the shop shades, something I'm enjoying right now is they don't mist up. So yeah, a mask with little filters on it and my shop shades. There we are. So I thought I'd try these on, let you guys know that this is a good idea. The other thing as well, your protection, but I can't remember where I've put mine. They are in here. So I'm gonna just quickly go through the measurements, mark up on my legs, and then yeah, just checking the wood is still there, and then start cutting. Wish me luck. So I'm going to be doing the same for all 4 legs, obviously, I guess. These are just a few scrap bits I had laying around, but they are big enough. So I'll mark this one, I'll show you that, I'll probably show you the cut, and I'm just going to do that 4 times. So I am looking for a total of 430 millimeters in length. And I've been buying more DeWalt stuff. These are great, nice and thick. They're perfect, and they're solid. They're great for this type of thing anyway. $430 millimeters. You know what? Oh, that's a shame. I was wondering if I can get 2 out of this thing. There we go. This is my waist side. Let's go and cut it. So this is my pieces all cut. These are my legs. But what I need to do is the spaces between them. I need to make sure that the legs fit inside these corners here, because I want this to sit flush on top. I don't want any legs sticking out the other side, either side. So, and obviously bracing, and maybe even one going across the middle just to make it strong. So I'm going to need to get my width and my length, I suppose, which is width and length, and find out what the distance is between these legs. So I need to find out what the width of the legs are and deduct that from 750 millimeters, so I know what my internal pieces here are going to be. So I know that some of you might just be self-explanatory, however it's it is 63 mil. Oh, see if we can get even focus there. So So 63 millimeters wide, and I want them to be orientated that way, so 63 that way millimeters, so that my gap between them needs to add up with those to 750 millimeters. So I need to add 63 and 63 together for each leg, and then deduct that from 750 millimeters to find out what length my bracing needs to be. Wow, I am mathematicking today, aren't I? Ooh. Right, here we are. So 63 plus 63 is 126. I've deducted 126 from 750 to give me 624. So that piece and this piece need to be 624 to get my total width there and there of 750 millimeters. So let's give that a go. Let's check again. 624. There's 624 right there. Let's go cut some of that crud off. I've learned that you always let your saw blade stop before removing your piece, well, before lifting it up and then removing your piece. Now on the bottom, I thought I may as well do the same because I'm doing the 624 millimeter cuts at the moment. This one, the other side has got all the holes in it. But even though this is thicker, this is going on the bottom and it's going to be covered on, you know, most sides. So I can use these, that doesn't matter, as long as I drill them together on a flat surface. So let's cut these at 624. So that's what each side is going to look like at 750 mil. You can see there's a slight lip on the 2x4 there, but it doesn't matter. And I've put the square on the internals of that and it's fine. So I'm just going to do another one of these and then we'll screw it up and go from there. So I've worked out this thickness, yeah, and this is 65 and that's 38. So sorry, 63. That's my terrible handwriting. Yeah, so 63. So I knew the width there. Now I've got to calculate this width there. So standard usually 63 by 38 millimeters. For 2x3, I did just have to double check that. And I've double checked the actual measurement and it is actually 38 millimeters. So it's 38 millimeters there, and 38 millimeters there, and 700. So let's work that out. We've got 38 and 38. So 38 plus 38. Very old school this is. So we got 16, 3 and 3 is 6, plus the 1 is 7. So 76 mil. So I've got to now take 76 from 700. And I don't know how to do that anymore. That's got lost to me. I think it was something like 6 from 0. No, lost it. But let's be fair, that's nearly 80. So if I take 80 off there, that would be 620. Take the 4 back off the 80 to get the 6. So that would be 24. So that then would be 624. Assembly next. Let's assemble that frame. Wahoo! the work surface has been bashed about a bit, so it's not entirely flat. So I thought I'd use this piece to assemble everything, because that, I know that's flat. It's 18mm. It's very sturdy. So I'm going to use that as my assembly table. Something I remembered very quickly, I'm bringing the workpiece to the edge so I can clamp it all down so it stays flat. I'm going to try and do my own pocket type thing. I put, say, I don't know, 3 screws in. Try and do it that way. I'll do it on one, see how that goes, and then if it works, I'll do it on all the others. And glue. I will glue it. These are really good. I'm getting some clean holes with these. And now that it's on video, I bet I'm going to have some terrible holes. It would be typical, wouldn't it? I'm just going to move you across a bit if I can. There we are. So, I think what I'll do is just match this up to the head. That's an 8. And take the 8 out. Let's see if I can do this right. Right, okay. Fingers crossed, let's do one. Oh, let's find out what's going on here. Did I do it right? Bit too steep of an angle, I think. Oh my god. So I might have to make these pocket hole type things that I did much shallower to get the screw to go in shallower, and the 50mm Torx are what's in there now. You know the type. These, where's my camera? Yeah, torque bit heads, torque head bits. So yeah, I'm gonna carry on going around and doing it with them instead, unless I can figure this out as well to get a much stronger bond, but we'll see. Check my corners, that's spot on, that's spot on. Tiny bit of wiggle room there, but that's spot on. So either something's, oh hang on, no, that was me. Oh, there's a millimetre in it. Shop furniture, I'm not worried about it. Right, so I've got the framework upside down at the moment. I know this cross piece here is inset, but it's going to be flush with the outside. And all of those stretchers, I think they're called, are going to be 2x4 flush all around, and hopefully strong enough to have the actual table saw on it. So I've just put a strip of wood at the side there to make sure that this end and this edge are flush on the outside. My table saw only goes up to, I think it's a max of 600 or 650, so I've got to do this with a circular saw, and I've got to try and be accurate. And then I know my circular saw plate is dead on 4 inches to the blade, so I shall measure 4 inches. Do you know what? I'll do that with a solid ruler. 4 inches there. Seven hundred dead on. Oh no. Damn it. Yep, that's going on the bottom. I didn't measure it right. That's 730. I should have done 753. OSB falling everywhere. So this is 735. So I need to do, damn it. $750. So my camera died, the battery died. I used the top, I lined it up with the straightest edge I could find, turned the whole thing on its side, on that edge that I'd lined up, and then squared the whole frame up to the OSB. Hopefully I've done that right. So yeah, apologies for the loss of video footage of the last, of putting the top and bottom on and lining it up. But like I said, all I did was get one straight edge, turn the frame onto that side, and then square the frame up to the OSB, and it seems to have worked. Alright, so I've got my wheels. Like I said, they're only small casters, but I think they should do the job. I don't need bigger than that because I'm not going to be trying to wheel this thing over any major debris on the floor or any chunky bits. It's got to move a couple of feet inside the workshop or shed, so I don't need bigger than the 2-inch wheels. They are quite heavy duty ones. They're really hard rubber, so they should be fine, but I'm going to fit them with, if I can actually focus on these. Hello, focus, there we are. Pocket hole screws, because of the head. I believe that head is flat enough for me to hold those in nicely. Here we go. Oh, it's kind of heavy. Sorry, Mr. Spider, I just felt his web. Right. Oh. Wow. Let me know in the comments what you think, guys. Please share, like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff, just to sort of help push me along a little bit. I'm hoping that somebody can learn something from me or with me or teach me something, you know. I'm open to all sorts of suggestions, guys. Anything that will get me make my way forward in my journey. So thanks very much for watching. Take care of yourselves.